brought to you by Penguin.
Written from the Heart by Trisha Ashley. Read by Rachel Atkins.
Chapter 1. In a Jiffy. Because you are my sister, I'll take the time to say, I wish you health and happiness on this, your special day. Because you are my sister, though our ways have grown apart, I'll always take you with me, right here, in my heart. Fortina, with love from Antonio and all the bambinos. So, it's my birthday. And I'm not saying which one because it's so middle-aged. I can't believe it's true. And someone has to be playing a bad joke on me. My friend Linny gave me one of those little dictaphone things because she said I had an interesting life and should record my great thoughts right off the top of my head, just in the terribly spontaneous way I always spoke. And look how those American universities snap up an author's entire collection of scrap paper, so what wouldn't they give in a few years' time when you're rich and famous for actual recordings of the great Devino's voice? I said that by the time I was rich and famous, technology would probably have made anything other than interactive holograms obsolete, and then she said I watched too many ancient Star Trek reruns. However, I'm happy to admit that I am an absolute sucker for people with knobbly faces, wearing giant stretch baby grows, and so cannot get enough of that type of programme. You can't talk, Linny, because anyone who watches old Buffy episodes shouting, bite me, whenever Spike appears is a truly sad person, I pointed out, and she went all defensive. But anyway, Linny hasn't been gone 5 minutes, and this is my first recording, so I can see I'm going to be absolutely addicted to talking to myself, because naturally I'm my biggest fan. And whenever two writers are gathered together, let's face it, it's not so much a question of conversation, but more a case of, let's talk about something more interesting, darling. Me. Linny had arrived wearing a black T-shirt with B on the back, and the words big, buxom, brunette, and beautiful emblazoned across her chest in sequins, but that still left plenty of room. She could have added Batty and Bossy as well. I bet that caused a stir when she walked through Shrimp Haven on the way to my humble little fisherman's cottage. Unfortunately, sans fisherman. She doesn't often deign to visit me as she lives in Primrose Hill, which is much more interesting to someone like me, who desires to live the literary life to the full. So I visit her instead, especially when Tertius the tycoon is away, which is a lot of the time, and also my lover Sergei, the ex-ballet dancer turned exercise guru, lives nearby. You must have heard of Sergei Popov, even if you aren't into ballet. I'm not. Or exercise, ditto. Or not out of bed anyway. I bet you have his Sergei Yoga DVD, just for the pleasure of watching him bending his beautifully supple body into strange positions while looking dead sexy. It is lucky that the train service between Shrimp Haven and London is fast and frequent, for I spent a huge amounts of time shuttling up and down between the two. But, like Trollope, I find travelling terribly conducive to creative thought, and so write much of my novels on the way, penned into large notebooks hand-bound by my friend Jackie, when she isn't making enormous quantities of totally useless paper flowers. Linny had brought one of the sequined T-shirts for me, but I said, Linny, you should have had the big deleted from mine because, let's face it, I'm vertically challenged, so my bust measurement is almost the same as my height. Yes, she said, but it could be big as in bestseller. You're going to be huge. I can feel it in my waters. Yuck. Then she ate the big box of Godiva chocolate Sergei sent me, so she's the one who's going to tip over the scales into huge at any moment. Next morning found me printing off a new batch of flyers. Noveltina, Literary and Critical Agency,
Sample complete.
Ready to continue?